Hey everybody, it's Tony for eModels.co.uk. Welcome to part 6, I think, of the Valentino and Rossi build. We're going straight in this time. Hang on, I better do the credits, hadn't I? Yeah, so we're going straight in. Just bear with me whilst I get this white tack out the back of his mush. So, this is one of the two helmets that we get with the kit. Get off. You get off. Get off. I love this white sock, in case you don't get any greasy residue that you get with the blue post-attack. I'll tell you what, in half a bucket I get off sometimes. Can we say that? Can we say bugger? Can we? Awesome. Right, I can get away with that one, I think. Well, normally you can anyway. Right then, so we get the rear half of the helmet. Oh god, my enunciation is terrible, dear boys. Get the Magneto helmet. It looks like Magneto. It does. Shush. It does. Right. Stop arguing. It does. It does. It does. You resign. Alright. There's a little bit of squishability. So I'm basically going to put those in so that we've got the shape of the helmet as we need it to be. Because apparently you glue the helmet together and you stick these in separately. So we can get this lighting sorted out a little bit better. Oh, hello, there we go. That's better. Right, so you would normally glue that together and then stick these in separately, which, yeah, is a bit fiddly when I've had to play with it. So let's try and get those lined up a little bit. So what the idea is now is we're going to drop some PVA glue around that seam rather than normal glue. Hopefully it'll hold. I might do that without these two inside. So I'm just going to put those in for a little bit of stability, but no, it's just forcing the seam a little bit. So the idea being is, we'll glue this together with PVA. We'll do the detail painting like the inside of this liner that you get for where the lid cover goes. I've still got to try and figure out if these vents need painting yet. Because I was looking at the decals, it doesn't look like they leave any gaps in the decals. But I'll paint them anyway, just in case. So, get the decals. So I can't tell off that. I'll tell you what, I'll split that whilst we got it out. Minding your fingers. There we go. There we go. I've done that much whittling on the body, I think I need a new blade. And me sharp cutty thing, because it's not as sharp as it cutty would be. Hello. Did you hear my brain fall over them? I did. Right, so that's that off already. Right, so yeah, I can't quite tell off them whether or not we need to detail paint these vents. So I'll do that anyway, just to be on the safe side. Because why not, it's there. Because we don't have to use decals. If we decide that this is going to be an ordinary biker, we don't need all that on the thing with the stuff. And that makes sense in my head. So it's worth doing. Right. So PVA glue. PVA glue. PVA glue. PVA glue. PVA glue. I've got this horribly gooey stuff. It's slowly going off. And you can see there it's all stringy and goopy. I'm going to use that to my advantage. Just all a load on. Now if you remember, we did this with the... I didn't finish explaining what I was doing, was I? Did I even? Yes, the idea being we PVA glue this together. And then hopefully, once the decals are on and set, and we've sealed them in with all kinds of varnishes and what have you, I'm hoping that the PVA, being nowhere near as strong as ordinary glues. Yes, I'm making a real pig's ear of that, but I want that tack. You'll see why in a second. With the PVA being nowhere near as tough as the other stuff, we should then be able to slice down the decal around this seam so that we can attach the helmet separately and hopefully show off all that lovely work we've done with the face painting. Now obviously you don't need to do that, this is just me wanting to try something out, and for me the best way of trying something out is to actually get in and do it. So that's all that, and then by now that other stuff should be lovely and tacky. Just got to basically whack it together like that. And then with a damp cotton bud, I've just moistened with a little bit of saliva, remove the excess. Don't you dare start croaking now. Typical. I've got rid of my tonsillitis, but I've still got a bit of a croak. Don't like that. That's that about. Right, so that's that. From the outside, we need to just nip on the inside as well. What this will do as well, the moistened cotton bud will just smooth into the seam a little bit. Just help fill any gaps. I'll finish what I'm saying in a minute. It's because I'm concentrating. I can't concentrate and speak at the same time. Hate it when my girlfriend's right. Yeah, so that takes care of that. So, I'm going to leave that for roughly an hour to sort itself out and do its thing and dry, and we'll have a quick test of it. Hopefully it'll be secure enough. That's a good idea, isn't it? Put a moistened cotton bud on decals. Lovely. Didn't catch it. Right, so I can go over there nice and safe. So, back in an hour. We'll see how that's doing, and then we'll do a little extra priming, so I can just see that the back half and front half are quite the same shade of paint. And then we'll do the detail work on that inner visor liner typey thing, and then we'll do some of these vents as well, just in case they show through on the decals. So, back in a minute. So that's had a good hour to dry and do its thing. Let's get the glove on. I'm going to stick with the dark grey that we've used for the inside of the helmet and the liners, and Valley's liner. There he is. So it's the RLM 74 from Vallejo Model Air. Let's get rid of that shiny onto the side here. There we go. Little spot on the corner there. Get a bit low on that stuff. I use that for absolutely everything, particularly where blacks are involved. Okie doke. So again, just for the time being, while we're doing the detail parts, just going to pull and twist the brush to a point, like so. Hopefully you can catch that. I just realised I wasn't checking screen position. There we go. So pull and twist to a point, and that'll help us get into this into these lines at the top. Concentrating again. The don't worry if it looks patchy on the first pass. We'll do this in a couple of light coats rather than smack it all in one go. We'll come back and do the infill. And this is where you start worrying if you've had too much coffee. There is actually quite a nice lip to follow there. Don't forget, move your hand around to suit you. Don't dislocate your wrist whilst you're trying to paint. Lovely. So let that dry back and then we'll do a second coat. So just off camera, whilst we were waiting for this to dry, just gone round the lip of the helmet. Go on, focus. Just to take care of that dark edge as well. And we'll just come back and fill in the rest of this piece here. Like so. Try and put your finger on what you just painted. Like I've just done. There we go. So the second coat just takes care of everything nicely. Stops it all looking splotchy like it was a minute ago. I'm not liking this frog I've got in my throat again. There we go. Alright. So that's taking care of that nicely. Leave that to dry. We'll give that about an hour again and then we'll varnish that. And then we'll let that cure overnight. Yeah. So gloss varnish. We'll leave that to cure overnight because it's getting quite late now. And I need to go to sleep and things like that. So we'll come back tomorrow and we'll start looking at these decals. Bibbidi bobbidi boo. Put them together and what they got. Bibbidi bobbidi boo. Can we do this? Can we sing? Are we allowed to do that? We've got the helmet. It's all shiny. And we've got details painted in. And I forgot to do the grill underneath. Yes, the grill underneath. I've just spotted that now. But I'm not going back to sort that out. So what I'll do is, where's my glove? The glove. I had an accident the other day with some decals that I'm working on another project, and I held onto the decal like that as I'm cutting away and trimming around, and the next thing you know the decal stuck to my finger because it was cheap and nasty kit. Not like these wonderful cards of graphs, but I'm not taking that chance anymore. So right, twaddle over. We need to do these decals in order. And what I've not done is done number 1 and 2 yet on the inside of the helmet liners, because I'm a little bit lazy like that. So that's 1, that's 2. And what we get is number 1 goes in inside of the magneto helmet rear. Oh, number 2 goes on one of these things here. I think it's back there on the rear of the helmet underneath liner type thing that goes underneath here. Yeah, stop talking. Start doing. I'm just going to shift that a little bit over that way so that I can get my head under. So I'm cracking my head on the stand right here. Keep banging me head, so if there's a wobble, that's why. So I've still not got used to that new gimbal yet. I've had it long enough, you think I should do by now. But when I move it out of the way like this, I can't quite figure out where we are. Are we in shot? Don't be silly. We're never in shot. Right, so put those off to the side nice and safe. Ha. Ha, like that. And we're just going to carry on trimming around decal number 3. I say 1 and 2 have been missed out deliberately because I'm silly and I'm lazy and I can't be bothered doing those just yet. I want to get this helmet sorted out. Now, the person in me who's been training public speaking, because yeah, I used to live in the corporate world and I used to give seminars all the time. I'm acutely aware that I'm cracking my head off the camera stand. I'm talking down into the desk, so apologies if I'm coming across a little bit muffled, more muffled than usual. So, we've got a decal. We've got a decal with hair on it for some reason. So, we've got a decal in clamping tweezers. We have a shiny helmet that's been gloss varnished, like so. We've got a set and sole, which is very confusing because you'd think that the one that you set with is actually called set, but it's not, it's called sole. We have 2 brushes set aside especially for this, 1 band of tape for pot number 1, 2 bands of tape for pot number 2, therefore we keep these separate. Yes, I've got giddy hands. Okay, let's get those sorted out. Lock off the gimbal. You're a gimbal. So what I'm basically going to do now is take the decal in the clamping tweezers, plunk it face down into some warm water, not hot, not cold, warm, comfy enough that you can put your finger in and think, oh, that's nice. You're not singeing everything. You can see the decal curl up, hopefully, can we? So you can see the decal curling, like so. I've left that in way more than I normally do. Normally I'll literally dip it in, get it wet, plonk that to the side there now, let it do its thing, don't touch it. What I'm going to do now is take bottle number 1 with brush number 1, and apparently this decal will go... Oh, you don't dip it in the water at all, Tony. Oh, I could do. Yeah, I'll tell you what, let's get that around there anyway. So don't forget we've sealed the helmet together with PVA glue rather than normal glue. So we'll just wet the helmet there a little bit. So if you're familiar with the Yamaha build, we're going to do the exact same things here that we did with the Yamaha decals. And this is going to be just as entertainingly tricky because we've got all these curves that we need to play about with. So I've just dipped into bottle number 1. I'm going to preparate this area here, like so. Now the gloss varnish does a couple of jobs. It seals all the painting because that basically is white vinegar. It stinks to high heaven like white vinegar does. I've got to make sure I get this decal the right way around, which is that way. So if we don't protect the paint underneath with varnish, that is basically X20A. So you've got white vinegar and X20A, both of which will strip your paint away. We don't want that. We don't want that at all. That's a little bit, no. We don't want that whatsoever. So we've got the central vent there, we've got, I can see a couple of little marks for these 2 vents here at the front of the helmet. So that's one reason why we gloss varnish. The second reason is it increases the surface tension of the piece, which helps the decal to suck down onto the piece we're working on. Now I'm just going to very carefully, just using my thumb. It's another reason why I'm using a glove as well, so the decal doesn't stick to the oils in my finger. Finger sweat, get rid of that. So I'm just going to very gently tease this round. Make sure that that stays lined up in the middle. Like so. And then I'm going to go quiet as I concentrate. So we're just going to follow that curve there, and then hopefully tease this edge around the corner. Like so. So this blue stuff here actually softens the decal so we can get around these complex corners. A little bit. Now, because we're using cartograph decals even, use your words, Tony, these are slightly thicker than bog standard decals. So we definitely need to use a softening solution just to help us out a little bit. And what you don't want to do now is touch this with your bare finger like that, because it's softening and you'll stick to your finger, and trust me, it will rip. So I'm just going to tease that around the corner there like so. So avoid the temptation to grab hold of it and move it with your bare finger. A gloved finger won't be too bad, because you've not got the oils to worry about in your finger. So I'm just getting that nicely lined up there now. What will happen with the softening solution is it'll actually melt the decal a little bit, just to help it around these corners and help it bind down and settle into nooks and crannies and crooks and nannies. Just going to give that a little squish down the front end like so. And once I'm happy enough with where it is, I'll come along with the number 2 bottle, which will react with the decal a little bit. It's basically X20A, like I say. In the old days I would have used X20A as the setter. The melty bit. There we go, that got you. So just following that grey rim around the bottom, like so. Right, I'm happy enough with where that is now. Could do with going just a little bit further down at the bottom. So I'm just going to add a touch of water just down there, which will hopefully get through the gap. Just give it a quick nudge a little bit further down. Taking care not to rip the decal, and again, don't be tempted to stick your bare finger on there. Okay, slowly getting there. Just be patient with this, there's no rush. It's not a race. Let's take our time. The Italian capital wasn't built in a day after all. Just give that a little teasing as well, just to raise the edge a little bit. Like so. Now you won't be able to see this, but I can actually see that wrinkling a little bit because we've used the softener. It's actually taking the form of this little lip we've got around the back of the helmet. Which is perfect, it really is perfect. We're not quite lining up with that edge there, but it's close enough, I can live with that. if you've noticed so far, I've not touched this at all whatsoever with a cotton bud yet. Simply because we have got this complex curve. So we've just gone straight on with the set. As you can see, I'm just working around it with a brush. And we've actually taken the form, like I say, of that vent already. Oh, where's the spare helmet? Where's my other helmets? My other helmets aren't at hand. Yay. But there's like this little L shape just here. Cuts back and then there's like a little groove. So we've actually taken the form of that now. So I'm just going to add some more softener. We're going to come around this top edge here. Like so. It's not quite binding down with the edge of the helmet here. I'm just going to keep working with the brush just to help it round. What this will do now is it'll stretch the tiny little bit. You can probably see excess moisture coming out at the top here, and that's fine. It's doing its thing, it's stretching. Like so, and eventually this will settle back down to do its thing. So I'm just going to leave that now for a couple of minutes. Now at this stage, whilst this thing is doing its drying, you can trim the rest of your decals away. Ready. So we've got number 4, which is here. So what the instructions tell you to do as well is, once we've got these big bulky blocks on, it's then asking you to go back and do the sponsors on the side of the helmet. Where are we? There we are. So we've got that one there. We've got another one knocking about somewhere, which I can't quite remember now. There's another one somewhere. But like I say, they're asking you to put these over the top of the decals you're already on. Best thing to do there is to seal everything in first. So once we've got all these big blocky ones on, all these main decals, we'll seal all that down with gloss varnish before we touch it with this, because if we apply one of these two over the top of decals that are already there, we're going to melt the decals again. So just be careful of that one. But once we get there, I'll point that out properly. So I'm just going to very carefully, ooh, very carefully come around the top there. That's each number 5. Like so. So that's number 5. I'll put that off to the side where there's no moisture. Get rid of you. Don't need you anymore. Where have you gone? That's my bed. So that's that one. That's that one. And whilst you're trimming away like this, leave your numbers on until the last minute. Where are we? There we go. It's number 4 there. Trim that away at the last minute, otherwise that'll be floating around in your water and it'll stick to anything else you stick in there as well. Trust me, I've done it. Like I say, I've made the mistake so that you don't have to. I'm quite happy to make my mistakes whilst I'm live. So there we go, that's that one. That's Hoge. That's going to be fun. What I have noticed as well from these decals is we've got massive great big gaps there. Don't you can make out that chevron that's missing, and you've got another one here that's missing, and you've got a big round one here that's missing. And I kept thinking to myself, hang on, that's not right, that's gonna, you know, does that mean I've got a faulty decal like this? But no, that big chevron there is actually where that goes over the top, if you can imagine that. It's quite clever how they've done that, which is now making me think I should have base coated that entire helmet in a dark colour first. But hey ho. Hey ho. So this is the number... No, that's number 9. I've got number 3 on the helmet already, so I can get rid of that number 3. This is number 9. Okay, that's worrying. Where's that come? That's for the visor. That's for the helmet liners. I know. Ah, there they are. It's alright, I found them. My fandom. So yeah, after we've put, there's another one. That's why I couldn't find it before, because I've actually moved it out of its line of sight even. You just make out there, hopefully. There's like this big nice blank spot in the middle of the sunburst. With a tiny little circle here. That actually goes over the top of this. So if we leave this unprotected, and then use set and sol for this one over the top of this, we'll actually dissolve this one a little bit. We don't want that. That would be bad. So like I say, once we get all the block stuff done, we'll seal it all in with varnish. Now that should have by now done its thing. Just having a quick look round, we can see a few wrinkles, and that's fine. Yep, happy enough with that. So we're going to go over the top now with number 2. It's literally a case of not overloading your brush. We'll basically now just go around, brush this on. Be careful of your seam as well, don't lift your seam up at the back. I just heard an email arrive in the other room. Just basically coat it on and put it down, leave it. With cheaper decals you will see the thing go from that to this and then settle back down again. These Cartograph ones are a little bit thicker, so you don't quite get the obvious effect. But I can see around the back here now there's a slight wrinkle there that's working away quite nicely. What this will do now, so let's say it'll cause it to curl up like that, but it'll actually shrink the decal a little bit as well, so when it settles back down it'll start picking up all the grooves in the piece that we're working with. Now then, what we on so far? Oh, nearly a 20-minute clip. Lovely. And as this decal's shrinking and doing its thing, it should start to come over this lip here. So don't worry about your decal looking a wee bit too big. It should actually pull over the top here. If it doesn't, it's not a problem. We'll trim it back and then use a darker colour once it's all sealed in, just to pull it down a little bit. We're just going to basically now try and tease it over the top. Now with a cocking tail stick, we just go very carefully. Don't fight too much pressure, just try and tease that corner over. And so if it doesn't go, don't force it, it's not a problem. We can always trim this back. Don't worry. No, I don't think that wants to play. Ooh. Ready. So leave that a few more minutes again. Just spent another 10 minutes going around again with the set and sol, just to try and get that lip to wrap around. Now if you have a quick look at the instructions there, you can actually see this lip here. That's where the excess comes in. It's supposed to lip around. Like I say, it's fighting me. It's not quite going, not quite behaving like it should do, so not to worry, don't panic. We'll come back with a nice sharp knife, trim that back, and then we'll go in with that really dark grey that we've got, that we've used for the liner part itself. Just try and pick that up. So that really dark grey there, we'll fill that in. It's not a problem. It's not a problem at all. So I'm just going to give that another 10 minutes or so to dry off and flatten down and do its thing. See how it's doing. And then we'll stick number 4 on, depending on how it's looking. Yeah, I don't know if you can make that out. Just at about there. Get a pokey tool. Just there, there's one of these little vent things that hide away in the helmet. There's one just there. It's actually, let's say, it shrinks up, goes back, shrinks up, goes back. The more you do this, it's actually taking the shape of those vents now. It's not quite doing it around the front end yet, but it will do eventually. So we're getting there slowly. So we've done, well, the best part of an hour's worth of just fiddling about with the satin sole. It's slowly gripping onto the helmet now. Still a couple of raised bumps and lumps here and there, but eventually once we once we get all this stuff on, it'll start sticking down and doing its thing and settling down. So just going to keep working away, same as I did with the Yamaha itself. Just keep working away very patiently. Like I said, this doesn't have to be done in the next 10 minutes flat. We'll just keep nibbling, keep working, being very patient. It's one of these jobs, set yourself the best part of an afternoon aside, best part of an evening, something like that. Get your favourite music on in the background, off you go. We'll get there in the end. So I'm going to leave that in for another 10 minutes or so, let it do its thing, and then we'll come back, we'll have a nosy at what's going on and get that next decal on. So we're still going at it with the sole, this one, the number 2 bottle. Just try to smooth some of these wrinkles out and what have you. But it is slowly taking shape. And you still see just a little wrinkle at the top here where it's not quite bedding down. But if we leave that again for about 5-10 minutes, it should shrink up, come back, shrink up, come back a little bit. And we just basically keep doing that. It's quite a therapeutic process, this. Once you get into it and stop wanting everything to happen straight away, once you take your time. Like I say, don't try and do this all in one go. Don't think it's going to happen in 5 minutes, because it won't. I've been at this now for what, nearly 2 hours? Something along those lines. So just be patient. But, oh, that's what I was going to show you. It's gradually wrapped around that edge a little bit. It's still got a little bit of work to do just on this corner here, but this front edge here is mostly done. So we like that. I've missed a little bit in that corner, but I'm not too worried about that. I'm not too worried at all, considering the amount of complexity, ooh, big word, in this process. It's not a bad attempt at all. We like that. So I've just seen a couple of wrinkles popping up from where we've just added the number 2 bottle. So it's at that stage where if I tuck this now, I'm going to leave a sodding great big fingerprint in it, and I'm at risk of pulling the decal away. So leave it alone now for about 5 minutes. I'm going to go away. I'm going to stretch my legs because my foot's gone numb, which is worrying. I'm going to go for a wee as well, because I really shouldn't drink that much coffee in one go. Coffee. Oh, I'll tell you what. Editing this together now, I know I spent a ridiculous amount of time doing that helmet. I've got enough there to do 3 episodes of just the helmet alone. So, we're going to leave it here. because it's, you know, it's going on and on and on and on and on and on and on. But we've actually got a natural break here now, because this was actually, I can't remember what night it was now. It's like 2 weeks ago and more since I did it. Hang on, come here. Just grabbing his head. Speak amongst yourselves. There we go. So that's what we're looking forward to at the moment. It's absolutely gorgeous. A lot of hard work, but we've actually got a natural break here now, because at the end of that clip, it was actually getting on for like 10 PM, something daft like that, and you know, the people I share the house with need to go to bed, so I had to stop. So the next episode we'll catch up where it's actually the following morning, because like I say, I had to stop for sleep times and stuff like that, and we'll carry on with the helmet. There'll be a lot more time lapse in that episode, I think, just purely because of how much work's involved. Hopefully I'll try and find some better music than the cheesy stuff you've been listening to so far. In most of those clips, I was actually concentrating that much on what I was doing. I've tried to stick to real time as much as possible as well, just to give you an idea of how much work I was actually doing. And I realised, as I'm editing this, I forgot to speak, because I was concentrating that much on what I was doing. So it's not because I'm talking absolute nonsense. I just sat there with my tongue out in the corner, like, yeah, kind of like that. You know, just working around all this lovely detail. Absolutely gorgeous. It's glorious. Definitely worth all the hard work. It really is. So, until next time, which will be very, very soon, I'll try and get as many episodes up as I can now, because he's actually finished. He's done. He's built. He's finished. And oh, fantastic. So I'm actually catching up now with all the editing. In the meantime, bob along, see my mates at eModels.co.uk. Send them my love, because I genuinely can't thank them enough for letting me do this in the first place. And I'll get the next episodes up as soon as I can, because you know it's that final push stage. I've just got 4 days worth of editing to do. Well, 4 days of footage of editing to stop talking, Tony. Go home, go to bed. Smacking this idea, boss, that's it. So, bob along, see them, send them my love, spend some money with them. Take care, guys.